What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. How are you today? Monday, start of a new week. Super Bowl last night, UFC 271 on Saturday. The 76ers had some two games. What was it, Friday, Saturday? They had the back-to-back. They play again tomorrow against the Boston Celtics. Of course, James Harden is on the table here, so a lot to discuss. What's happening, everyone? How are you guys? How are you guys? Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. James says, I love Saturday's show. You guys work well together. Thanks, man. And that's, of course, referencing Tyrone and myself on The Fanatic. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate the kind words. What's up, Brett? How are you? How are you? If the offsides by Donald was called on that 4th and 1, the Rams lose the game. The 4th and 1. Offsides by Donald. I'll go back and look at it. I don't think that's what stood out to me most. What stood out to me most was the horrible call on Logan Wilson, the holding call as they scored the touchdown eventually for Cooper Kupp on Eli Apple. That bothered me a lot more. What's up, Nick? Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We got a nice cup of Joe sitting in front of us right now, and I'm excited to just dive on into it. I need this cup of Joe badly. Monday morning, 9 a.m. Yeah, we need some coffee in our lives. Oh, do we need some coffee in our lives? Cheers, everybody. We're going with a McDonald's. We got McDonald's coffee this morning. It smells like it's not the coffee that's the problem. I feel one, I have the fresh Crest toothpaste vibe going. And then I almost feel I smell the mug that were just washed with the dishwasher. I almost feel like I can smell the soap still in the coffee mug. So I have a combination of coffee, a too clean of a mug, and toothpaste. Something it isn't right. This isn't right. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Who did I root for yesterday? I really didn't have any rooting interest, Connor, honestly. It was just one of those days where I was able to kick back, relax, and enjoy it. I did find myself naturally hoping that Joe Burrow won and the Cincinnati Bengals were able to pull it off, but there was no emotional tie to the Rams getting it done or anything along those lines. So I was hoping the Bengals would win, but really I just wanted to enjoy the game of football and just embrace it for what it is. It's the Super Bowl. It's a huge event. It's a big game. Will Matthew Stafford be able to win? Will Cooper Kupp be able to explode? What would Aaron Donald look like? And at the end of it, it played out the way that it should, right? The offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals was problematic, and we knew that heading into it. And the defensive line of the Rams should have annihilated them. And then by the end, in that second half, once the Bengals took the lead, they really exposed the Bengals offensive line. And from there, it was basically that. And I thought that the team that should have won, and the reasons why they won was the reasons why we thought that they would win. It basically played out the way that we thought it would by the end of it. What's up, Brodes? Love the Rowan hoodie. Got class in half an hour in Glassboro. Nice, man. Yeah, I had a good time at Rowan. Rowan was a good spot. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Are you going for sports communications and media or just something else? Don't matter if they bought the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter how you do it. I don't give a damn. That's just a way of their method. You could draft, you could develop, or you can use all your draft picks and say, we'll go get players that are already talented, and we don't have to worry about drafting and developing. And they did that. I got no issue at all. There's multiple different ways to build a roster. And that's why when you have the debate now, what do they do with their 3 first-round draft picks? Do they use them and pile them up to go grab somebody? Do they draft players in the draft? What's best? What suits them best? There's multiple different ways that you can attack this. There's not just one way to win a championship. I don't care how you win a championship. Win a championship. This is the way that they got it done. So be it. So be it. No, I'm not. I'm not buying any Harden gear. I'm not. I don't know. That's just not for me. I'm not buying any gear personally. Nice. Congratulations, man. That's exciting. Sports cam major as a freshman. Nice. Yeah, I had a great time at Rowan. You're going to enjoy it. At least I know I did. So I only went there for 2 years. I transferred after my sophomore year, and I went there my junior and my senior year. But those were the 2 years that I had the opportunity to experience it, and it was fantastic. My buddy who's a Rams fan is absolutely over the moon. I would expect so, right? Known the guy since elementary school. No idea why he's a Rams fan. Football is one of those where you just, I guess, pick and choose at one point, and then you become one of those fans. I don't know. It's weird. Or my dad was a fan, and I became a fan because of him. I don't know. Just weird. But anyway, I would imagine that he is excited for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, it didn't become their kryptonite. It always was their kryptonite. They weren't supposed to be there. They weren't supposed to be in the Super Bowl. You don't get sacked that many times against the Titans and then win that football game. So they weren't really supposed to be in that position to begin with. It was sort of house money. You knew at some point that wouldn't hold up. I mean, statistics were flying around all week long. X amount of teams that got sacked X amount of times won a very limited amount of games. They don't really have a ton of generated success. So the fact that they were even there with that offensive line was mind-boggling. And knowing what type of power was on the other side, yeah, they weren't gonna be able to pull it off. We got $10 coming in, $10 donation from Bruce. Hello, Bruce. Thank you so much for donating $10. Good morning, Brodes from Southern California. Transplanted Eagles fan. Rams a blueprint for the Eagles, trading for one of the potential QBs available. I mean, I think they're going to make phone calls to do so. There's many different ways you can do this. You could build within. You can draft players and develop players. That's a way to do it. You can buy players. Just because one team does it one way doesn't mean that's the only way that you necessarily can do it at the same time. So I would imagine if you're Howie Roseman, with or without watching Matthew Stafford win this championship, they were calling about Russell Wilson. They're talking about Russell Wilson. They're talking about Deshaun Watson. They're talking about some of these quarterbacks available with or without the Los Angeles Rams winning this Super Bowl, because if you can upgrade your quarterback position, they're going to do it anyway, or at least attempt to do it regardless and no matter what. So yes, now that this happened, though, it is a copycat league, and maybe we'll see more teams attempt it. It doesn't mean that they'll necessarily knock it out of the park, because it is very difficult to win a championship. You still need the right pieces. You have to find a way to grab a quarterback as good as Matthew Stafford. You need a Cooper Kupp. You need an Odell Beckham. You need an Aaron Donald, a Von Miller. You need a Jalen Ramsey, right? I mean, these players matter too much. You need Robinson, who can help stuff the run. You need Leonard Floyd. You need all these players. You need Weddle, who's playing with basically a shoulder or an arm or whatever the hell it was that needs surgery. It takes a lot of talent. It's not as easy as, oh, yeah, now you can just buy a team and make it happen. You got to buy the right team. So is it a blueprint? I mean, sure, it always was a blueprint, though. With or without them winning the Super Bowl, them consistently being in the mix with this mindset is enough to say, hold on, there's sustained success by the Rams doing this. Thank you so much, Bruce, for the $10. I really appreciate that. I'm just glad they gave the Super Bowl MVP to the dude that deserved it. Nah, I thought Aaron Donald. Wait, what? I'm confused. I swore up and down Aaron Donald was adding that to his many. I'm lost. Are you being sarcastic in the beginning? Is that what's happening here? You thought Cooper Kupp deserved it? I don't get it. I thought Aaron Donald deserved it over Cooper Kupp. Yeah, but I talked about this on my post-game podcast. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that he was going to wake up anyway. I mean, he's an unbelievable player with an obvious opportunity to win that matchup consistently. But if you're the Bengals, why would you not get in the face of Aaron Donald when Joe Burrow gets shoved 8 feet out of bounds like that? You have to do that. It's your quarterback. You're supposed to just walk away. It's the Super Bowl, and you walk away from Aaron Donald shoving your quarterback to the ground full speed like that and pushing him out of bounds. No, you stand up for your quarterback. You get into that scuffle, and then you back up your push. You back up what you did. You play better. So I have no problem with that scrum afterwards, because that's what you're supposed to do. I'd be more bothered if I watched Joe Burrow get crushed that way and then nobody do a damn thing about it. That would bother me more. Cooper Kupp definitely deserved it. I don't think that that's fair to say that he definitely deserved it. I mean, I'm not going to cry about it. I don't care enough about it. But you're just acting like Aaron Donald didn't absolutely take over the entire football game in the second half. Cooper Kupp had the drive. Cooper Kupp had the one drive at the end. Aaron Donald took over that second half. I mean, you're acting like Cooper Kupp was just like sensational for 4 quarters and was like the most elite athlete the entire time. He had one good drive. He had one good drive. So, and I love how you just said like having 2 sacks and all that is if it's like not good, right? Like, oh, but I mean, he only, yeah, he only. I don't have enough passion about it. So if it would have upsetted you that much, then by all means, it is what it is. But um, it didn't bother me that much. I won't lose sleep over it. I won't lose sleep over it. That's for sure. Agree. I think Cup was the MVP. The fourth down run, 2 TDs when everyone knew he was getting the ball. He wasn't doing much when they knew that, though. I mean, let's be realistic. Cooper Kupp had a big stretch of quietness. So you can't say when everyone knew he was getting the ball. I mean, there was a lot of times where he was the only guy out there and everyone knew he was getting the ball, and they weren't able to consistently get him the ball until that fourth quarter drive, really. But I don't care. I don't care. Super Bowl MVP. Won't think about it ever again. The only reason why I ever even thought about it ever again after last night was because someone just took shots at Aaron Donald for no reason. That's more my point here is I have no idea why you want to throw shots at Aaron Donald as if he didn't take over this football game and you're downplaying his impact on it. Oh, we shouldn't have got it. Okay. All right. I guess I'm missing the outrage if he was to get it, or I'm missing the Aaron Donald hate for some reason. I live in downtown LA. I have no idea how I'm up right now. I have no idea how you're up right now, too. I have no idea. I mean, unless you're still partying from the night before kind of thing. Unless you haven't went to sleep yet because you've just been letting it rock, letting it fly, snorting all sorts of white powder and shotgun and beer. So, I mean, that's really the only way, I guess, they can still be going. Will Harden help Maxey grow? Teach him to be a superstar? You'd imagine so. You'd imagine so, of course. Why wouldn't he? He's a point guard who plays a similar position, and one guy's a superstar in the league, and the other guy is a superstar in the making. No. I don't know if he's a superstar in the making, but he's a damn good player in the making. So, of course, yes, I anticipate James Harden helping out Tyrese Maxey learn more in this league. Absolutely. You know, one thing that bothers me right now is normally after the Super Bowl, you can transition. Obviously, it's still basketball season, but you start getting your mindset for some Phillies baseball, and you start worrying about, hey, here we go, baby. What's our rotation going to look like? What are the additions to the bullpen? Who's playing second base? Right? You can just start talking about positions. And then, of course, because of stupid baseball and the stupid owners and Rob Manfred, we don't have that in our back pocket, and that upsets me. That bothers me, and it annoys me. Lots of beer last night and this morning. No white powder, though. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not saying there needs to be white powder. How about them Rams? Yeah, it was a fun game. It was all right. It was a forgettable Super Bowl for me. It was okay, though. I'll say this. There could be a lot worse. I was entertained. By Wednesday, honestly, by Tuesday, it is what it is. It is what it is. There was no buzz even leading up to this one. It was cool when it first started, and you got the adrenaline rush of I can't believe I'm watching the Super Bowl. And then there were some fun moments in the beginning stages because the Rams were moving the ball, and then the Bengals responded with the drive where they could actually run the football, and they scored on a nice trickery play and all that. But at the end of the day, how about them Rams? It'll lose its juice by Tuesday night, honestly. I don't know when James Harden is going to play, but it does seem like people are speculating Tuesday is the goal in mind here. I wonder if I can type in James Harden Tuesday. Let's see. Maybe we'll have some fun with it. All right, MKB says the Sixers are hopeful that James Harden will make his debut Tuesday at home against the Celtics. All right, did this guy steal? When did I tweet this out? Oh, nope, he must have tweeted it before me. Well, I didn't even see it. James Harden could make his debut this Tuesday against the Celtics. Okay, that's what NBA writer for ESPN says. All right, it seems like a lot of people are speculating that Tuesday happens. I would love to try and do something for it. Kick back and maybe watch it. Watch it together or something. Yeah, I agree, RJ. I definitely do. The Super Bowl is what it is. It was fun in passing, but now it's time to watch James Harden play with Joel Embiid. We have Joel Embiid giving us 40-point triple-doubles. You know, it's funny. I was on the radio yesterday from noon to 4, and it's Super Bowl Sunday, right? So you'd imagine, hey, let's talk about the game. What do you think? What are the matchups? I probably spoke about the Super Bowl for 40 minutes. 40 minutes. The rest was nonstop calls on Joel Embiid and what he did against the Cleveland Cavaliers and how awesome that was. And Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle, 6 steals, and Tobias Harris's crossover on the right side of the floor, finishing with the left hook on a drive with his left hand. So there were a lot of things to discuss Sixers-wise, and I think that's obviously where our mindset is here in Philadelphia. This is an interesting story, though, Greg. I'm sure a lot of you guys all saw on social media yesterday that it seems that Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts' marriage is all said and done, and it's all she wrote. What a fall off for this guy. You know, the fact that he went from where he was that Super Bowl year to basically not even being able to work with Frank Reich. If you're him and you can't work with Frank Reich, there's a major problem there. And it seems to be a football. Look, I don't think he's a bad person outside of the game of football, right? He's a religious man. He's a family man. I don't think that he's a bad human being outside of football. The football person, though, seems to be a bad dude that can't connect with his teammates properly and be a good leader. And I'm not mad that the Eagles signed him because that's what you do when you have a quarterback that plays as well as he did to help you win a Super Bowl. And, you know, it's amazing that he played as well as he did. But the fact that they found out rather quickly, we got to make up for this mistake and we got to look in another direction or something. And they end up getting a first round back in return. The way that they maneuvered and slithered through the Carson Wentz drama because of Carson Wentz, it's pretty amazing, right? Now there's more context. Now there's more of an example of what's going on here. And it's clear that Carson Wentz is a problem. So I'm not telling you that the Eagles organization isn't whack and the Eagles organization don't have their own faults and they're not a little bit of a mess inside internally or whatnot. But let's not act like Carson Wentz gets off the hook here because he's not working with Frank Reich in Indianapolis. The GM threw him under the bus. The owner threw him under the bus as soon as the season ended and basically admitted that there's no way we're going to pursue with Carson Wentz. That's a problem on his own right, man. That's a him problem. I was crying, laughing when I read that about Wentz. It's crazy, the fall off. It really is. How do I feel about an ongoing narrative? I don't have too much of a feeling about it. The ongoing narrative that James Harden is a quitter. We'll see how he plays against or with Joel Embiid. I don't care what he did in Houston or what he did in Brooklyn. The only thing that matters to me is how is he going to play with Joel Embiid. So the whole narrative, the narrative of what? The same people saying that Daryl Morey shouldn't have done it because they gave away too much. A role player in Andre Drummond, a nice player in Seth Curry, draft picks that are irrelevant to this, and someone who was unhappy and was wasting $30 million sitting at home not playing the game of basketball. I mean, the same narrative that these media members just have talking heads and they just scream at one another for ratings and they don't even really believe what they say. That type of media attention and narrative. Yes, Nick, I do. I believe that Joel Embiid is currently the best player in the NBA. Yes. Yes, I do. I believe he is playing to that level and dominating that much that right now Joel Embiid is the best player on the planet Earth. Yes, I do. And that is just a beautiful thing to say. Beautiful thing to say. Well, it's matchup based in terms of Matisse or Danny. Matisse Thybulle can't play offense. In the regular season, you can get away with it more. Danny Green does seem to be a bit wild, but I do think it's matchup based. I mean, what are we talking about here? Regular season games, or are we talking about a playoff series? I mean, it all depends. Context matters. It's going to be adjustments, and different things are going to need to happen. So we'll see what ends up happening. I mean, right now, I would say Matisse Thybulle because I like Danny Green more off the bench. But if Matisse Thybulle ends up being problematic in the half court and can't help you at all spacing-wise, and it's crushing you big time, then maybe you have to look in another direction. So it all depends. It all depends. But yeah, I mean, from a surface, from a broad answer, I would imagine Matisse could start Danny Green off the bench. But that doesn't mean it's going to work like that all the time. It'll get very matchup based. Yeah, it's so true. That's so true. Ben Simmons quit on his team, but apparently nobody wants to bring up that. And Kyrie Irving won't get vaccinated and can play half the games. But, I mean, to be fair, there were people who did not understand it at the time, and that Kyrie Irving news made a lot of noise and was a big part of the news cycle during the earlier stages of the NBA season. So it's not like he just escaped all the media attention to him when he started making those decisions and being pretty vocal about it. So that is very true. That is very true. But yeah, I mean, Ben Simmons is one of the biggest quitters in history. Biggest quitters in history. By the way, I have a question. Am I too low to my canvas? Like, I'm thinking, do I move my canvas down so maybe you could see more of my body? I feel when I talk like this, which is what I do, I almost feel like I look like a tiny person a little bit. No? Am I going crazy? Am I overanalyzing this? Like I have mini arms? But like if I was lower, you'd see more of my body. So if I move the camera down, but then the canvas is lower too, it would make more sense. Are we making sense of what I'm saying here? Okay. I'm just asking the people. You're fine. You're fine. Overanalyzing. I don't see anything wrong. Well, guys, thank you. I tend to overthink. I don't know if that surprises anyone. What's up, Pags? How are you, man? Good morning. Yeah, I tend to overthink, for sure. I don't overthink, though, when I'm utilizing WinView. And WinView is the greatest app in the entire world right now. What you need to do is download the app, winview.tv/Brodes, utilizing that link down below in the description. I'll give you an example of what you can do. It's a game where there's 10 questions and you play against other people, not the house. So if you answer more questions correctly, you are cashing out. Let's use the Milwaukee Bucks and the Blazers tonight as our example. These are some of the questions that you answer when you look at a game to enter. Okay. Question number 1. Will Milwaukee win the game by 11 or more points? Will both teams combine to score 230 or more points? Will Giannis make 2 or more threes in the game? Will either team shoot 80% or better from the free throw line in the game? Will Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday combine to record 12 or more assists? Will Portland outscore Milwaukee in 2 or more quarters? Will Bobby Portis attempt 6 or more three-pointers in the game? Will both teams combine to commit 24 or more turnovers in the game? So these are the type of questions that are asked. You predict, and then you basically battle somebody else, whether it's family, friends, somebody you despise, someone you don't know. You get in there, you answer those questions, and then it's literally a 1v1 who will do better. Right now, they're doubling your deposit bonus. So if you go in and you spend 50, you'll get 100. If you spend 100, you'll get 200. Or you can play in free contests just to get your feet wet. But it's a very unique way of betting. Forget about daily fantasy or your traditional spread or your traditional over-under. It's a very unique perspective on the sports betting world, and it's very fun. Mano y mano. It's a great opportunity. I have a blast. I basically play it every single night at this point, looking through the scheduled games, It's electric. WinView.tv/Brodes. That is the information down below in the description. Sign up using that link for sure. And yeah, get yourself playing a bit. It's really fun. It will help you out tremendously as well. WinView. Check it out. Pags. Good morning, brother. Can't wait for tomorrow. I can't either. I might do something for it. I feel I have to. I don't know what yet. Be on the lookout. Oh, hold on. The 76ers will introduce Harden and Paul Millsap at a press conference tomorrow at noon in Camden. It will be live streamed over platforms. Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey and Josh Harris will also participate. Nice. Nice. I want to watch James Harden play so bad tomorrow. You have no idea. I want to watch him play so bad tomorrow. What's up, Todd? Good morning. Is it Tuesday yet? Here's the thing. It would be so devastating if we get a chance if we get our hopes up thinking we have a chance to watch James Harden, and then he doesn't play till Thursday or after the All-Star break. That'd be terrible. Yeah, I agree, Zach. This doesn't make any sense. I can't get behind the rationale. It really is mind-blowing. The media demanded them to get rid of Ben Simmons because he's a problem, he's a headache, he's a waste. You got to maximize Joel Embiid. And then this team ends up landing a James Harden, and somehow, some way, that's not good enough. That's bad. This guy's not good anymore. You know, I hate this, too, because there's a lot of Sixers fans out there that continue to say, his defense is awful. And then my counter to that would be Seth Curry sucked defensively. You replace Seth Curry with James Harden, a better scorer and a better defender. So if James Harden sucked defensively and you don't want him, you're satisfied with keeping Seth Curry, who's not as good of a scorer and is worse defensively? It just doesn't make any sense to me. The logic is extremely flawed. No, I don't want him. I want nothing to do with him. I'd rather keep Seth Curry. Seth Curry, I like Seth Curry. I think he's a fine player, but he's not as good of a scorer as James Harden. He's not as good as a passer as James Harden. He's not as good of a rebounder as James Harden. And he's not as good of a defender as James Harden. Not that James Harden is a good defender. Seth Curry's just that poor as a defender, and it makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. So that kind of throws me in for a loop. Yes, he did. Seth Curry absolutely got torched by Kevin Huerter. That doesn't mean, though, that he can't help you out and be a nice piece for you. But, you know, if we're talking about the defense specifically, it doesn't make sense. I have no idea what Paul Millsap is going to bring to the table, honestly. I really don't. He might not be anything. It could be a buyout at the buyout market. It could be a Paul Reed. I have no idea. I don't want it to be a Bassey or a Paul Reed. When you think about a title run and, you know, they still have holes on their roster, I want a veteran backup who's been around the block with more experience compared to a Paul Reed or a Charles Bassey. And you would think naturally, okay, well, that's Paul Millsap, a 37-year-old who's had some success in this league. I'm giving him a chance. I just am not putting all my eggs in that basket saying, oh, yeah, he's definitely underrated and he's definitely going to make a spark and make some noise. He might be okay. How is he going to play at the 5? I don't know. I mean, we're really only asking for what? 6, 7, 8 minutes, 9, 10 minutes of Paul Millsap in a playoff game because 48 minutes and B plays 40. We're talking 8 minutes of action. Can he hold the fort down? Maybe, but I don't know if it's necessarily underrated. I don't know right now. I truly don't know. He might not even be a part of this by the end of it. Yes, James Harden is having a press conference tomorrow at noon. A press conference at noon makes me feel like he's not playing. Why? The game's at 7:30, isn't it? Why would speaking at noon make you feel he's not playing? I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I guess my question is, why would that change your feelings on it? Is the beef between Durant and Harden greater than the beef between Embiid and Simmons? From the outside looking in, it doesn't feel that way. But who knows? Who knows? You're correct. Ding, ding, ding about the front office. Front office loves him. And then we also heard, too, that Ramona Shelburne was discussing this. There's a relationship in terms of there's always been moments where James Harden wanted to play with Doc Rivers. That was a relationship that they were trying to figure out how to make happen for a bit of time. So for a while now, not only has Daryl Morey wanted James Harden, and James Harden wanted to be with Daryl Morey, but James Harden wanted to be with Doc Rivers too. So it seems to be a marriage on so many different levels here. And we'll see how the most important marriage goes, which is the big man and the two-man game and the pick and pops and the isolation ball and getting the ball to Joel Embiid on his spots on the floor and, have him face up the basket or get his post presence where he needs to be, establish himself nice and low, and then gets the basketball within one turnaround. He's a half inch from the hoop and he's laying it in, right? So there's going to be chemistry where they have to work it out and figure it out. But ultimately, you're right, where there is a relationship on the front office level and the coaching level that James Harden hasn't had in a while. Yeah, I think that's fair, Aiden. I think that's a fair assumption. That's a correlation that you can combine together. There's a trade deadline. You've been in trade talks. The Brooklyn Nets want you. You're a human being, right? So naturally, you're going to feel a certain type of way. And I'm sure that definitely does play a role in who you are out on the court and how you act off the court as well, right? It's not easy to walk around and act as if everything's normal when you don't know if you'll be packing your bags. Now, the only thing, I guess, to make it a little bit nicer is, one, you'll be shipped to a team that's, an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and that team's also in contention compared to maybe getting traded to a Sacramento or a team that stinks and a team that's out west. Maybe it makes it a little bit easier if you were to be on the move. But anyway, there tends to be a sense of urgency from Matisse Thybulle that I'm proving to Daryl Morey that there's a reason why you put me on the no-way list. You put me on the Tyrese Maxey list of I am not going to be made a Brooklyn Net. I'm not going to be moved. Yeah, he's playing with some fire under him for sure. Can we talk about how the media wants Ben Simmons to be a playoff five? Well, it's because there is a problem with spacing. Let's say he's out there at the 4 with Andre Drummond. Where do you go? Where do you go? The reason why they're talking about him as a 5, and I haven't heard this because I haven't paid attention, so I'm taking your word for it. But even if they haven't, let's talk about it as a hypothetical. And I know LaMarcus Aldridge is there, but there's a problem with the spacing. That's why. If he's a 4, you need to be a stretch 4 in this league. Kyrie Irving's the 1, Seth Curry's the 2, Kevin Durant's the 3, Ben is the 4, and then what? Drummond or Aldridge at the 5? That is a major, major clog in the middle of the floor because Ben Simmons cannot space. So the reason why they're doing that is by default here because he can't play any other position. So there's your answer on why that has to happen. And I'll be honest with you. It's matchup based, so he could probably get away with it at some point against some teams. But then, of course, not that anyone could stop Joel Embiid. But could you imagine a one-on-one matchup with that? That would be hysterical. People are speculating now, though, that a Tuesday press conference smells like a Thursday debut for our new bearded friend. Could be wrong, but a press conference in the morning and a game at night seems a tad excessive to me. Hope I'm wrong. We see him wiping the floor with the C's tomorrow night. I hope I'm wrong, and we see him wiping the floor. That's Jamie Lynch of the John Kincaid Show. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't put too much thought into the whole press conference on Tuesday morning thing. But maybe we don't see him on Tuesday. Maybe we don't. But that seems weird that he plays one game, and then there's the NBA All-Star break. Don't know why I just had a brain fart there. At that point, why don't you just wait to make sure the hamstring is okay and make sure that you do everything proper with the hamstring and then get him back after the All-Star break? Wouldn't that make the most sense then at that point? Which kind of stinks because I wanted to do some sort of watch party. I wanted to do a James Harden watch party where we can live stream the game and watch together. That's something. If you couldn't tell, I'm enjoying the live streams lately. And of course, that couldn't happen with. What's up, Joe Burrow? Thank you so much for the $5 donation. Joe Burrow says, who would win, 2017 Eagles or 2021 Rams? I mean, what do you think I'm going to say? If I had to ask you, who do you think I would answer in this question? I would love to know your answer. Because it's easy to me. Nick Foles, baby. Nick Foles. Nick Foles outdoing Matthew Stafford. If he could outdo Tom Brady, he's outdoing Matthew Stafford. I mean, it's easy for me. I appreciate the $5, Joe. No, I don't want any freedom. I don't want anything to do with that guy, honestly. I want nothing to do with that guy. Robin Lopez is a name, sure. I think that's something that could be intriguing to see what happens in the buyout market. I prefer Robin Lopez for sure. Anything freedom related, I don't want anything to do with that guy. So Robin Lopez, sure. Joe Burrow responds, I think you would say Eagles, baby. Of course I'd say Eagles. Yeah, I saw Gary Harris as a name as well. He's an interesting one. The problem is you got to worry about that backup big. That's the problem. You got to worry about that backup big. Gary Harris, though, he's averaging 11 points per game. He's shooting 38% from three this year, which is significantly higher from a lot of his other seasons. 34, 33, 30, 36. So he is having a nice year shooting the ball from three at a better clip, too. I mean, he's basically taking 5 threes per game, and he's knocking them down at 38%. That's definitely someone that can maybe help off the bench with some scoring. But the problem is you have such a hole at that backup center position, but it's definitely something to look at and consider for sure. Do you ever think we'll see a lineup where Harden, Embiid, and Harris are all on the floor at the same time and Furkan running the point? Well, no, because you'd have Tyrese Maxey at that point. You're just forgetting about Tyrese Maxey. I mean, the answer would be Doc Rivers should be fired if that's the case, where all these guys are off the floor at the same time. But this is what he believes in. And he said the other day that it won't happen, and he basically said he could stagger his players now because he has Maxey, he has Harden, he has Embiid, he has Tobias. But I still think at some point we'll see a Tobias plus bench lineup, which before you got Harden, I think that's fine. Now that you have him, it would be stupid and honestly so dumb to ever have that on the floor, where I can't rule anything out with Doc Rivers. For me, it's you have to show me you won't do it before I believe that you won't do it. That's where I'm at. So until I see it, I won't believe it. Fair to say? And that's because your track record has shown me that you don't adjust. You don't change your way of thinking. And we know your way of thinking at this point. So how could I ever in a billion years just assume that it's going to be different until you show me that it's going to be different? He did say it, though. He did say it would be. The Bengals were way too conservative. What do you mean by that? Where were they too conservative? I think their offensive line just started to get beat up, and the Rams were a better team. I didn't look at that as, wow, those Bengals, they just played soft, and they played scared all game. I didn't see that. Did anybody else see that? I didn't see them playing too conservative. I thought they just were not the better team. And then their deficiencies, which their biggest one, ended up costing them the football game by the end. And then, of course, with Joe Burrow, he didn't seem right and look right after he grabbed that knee and looked to be in super amount of pain when he went to the ground and got sacked. But I didn't think they looked conservative. I just thought they didn't look like the better team. They tried to establish the run. They did throughout one sequence, which scored them a touchdown on a trick play by Joe Mixon, who threw the touchdown pass. They didn't look soft or playing scared by any means. What do I think about Doc being a top 15 coach of all time? What that tells you is what I've been telling you forever now. The NBA head coaching isn't as strong as what people believe it is. That's my point. Everyone's like, oh, this guy stinks, that guy stinks, this guy's pathetic. Yeah, because majority of the people in this league are just guys. There's Greg Popovich, there's Eric Spoelstra. The rest of the crew, there's some nice coaches in there. Steve Kerr, Nick Nurse. The rest of them are just guys. It tells you that the NBA head coaching all time, you got a lot of them all time, right, that you can point out and whatnot over all the years of the NBA, but there's not many that wow you to death because the NBA head coaching isn't as strong as you would like it to be. Mike Budenholzer, he's holding this team back. They'll never win with Mike Budenholzer. Chris Middleton and Giannis and all the guys step up and have a great series. Now Mike Budenholzer is a phenomenal basketball coach. Well, that sure changed quickly. I love Pop to death. Love Pop to death. Pop is a fantastic, elite, amazing coach. The Spurs with a bunch of Hall of Famers compared to the Spurs right now. You can only do so much. My point is, you win with stars in this league. You win with stars in this league. Nick Nurse winning a championship with Kawhi Leonard. Nick Nurse not having the ability to do as much damage without him. That doesn't mean these coaches don't have a role and don't have a voice and don't have their fingerprints on things. And it definitely picks up in the postseason when you go toe for toe, you study film, and you make adjustments to counter what the other coach did. But their percentage on the championship isn't as high as people would like to admit. How long was I at Rowan for? 2 years. I went there my junior and my sophomore year after I transferred. Hello from Kazakhstan. My name is Roman. Hello, Roman. Welcome to Coffee with Brodes. How are you? What do I make of 2K rating Furkan the same as Green and Matisse? I never knew that, and that's horrendous work by them. That's horrendous work. I mean, Matisse's defensive numbers should be amazing. Danny Green's offensive numbers should still be good as a three-point shooter, even though he's going through a tougher season. And then Furkan should be like a 22 overall. Pop might be the last legit legendary coach. I think Eric Spoelstra, even though, yes, he won with his super team and all, you know, I mean, he won with some very special players. I still think Spo is up there. I still think Spo is up there, for sure. I don't want to take anything away from what Eric Spoelstra does. But yeah, Pop is amazing. Hi, I'm Marks from Philippines. Go Sixers. Why, hello, Marks. I appreciate your time and you hopping in and having some coffee. I don't know if anyone, I think I've asked this before, but how many of you in the chat are sitting there with your cup of Joe right now as we kick back and relax? Or are you just hanging? Now, do you specifically say at 8:58, I'm going to brew my cup of coffee, so when it's about 9:02 and Brodes is fully live after his welcome to the stream graphic is on, after that goes down and we're talking sports, I'm drinking my cup of Joe with Brodes? I wait for this to drink my coffee. I love it. Already drank mine. I love it. Just got off work, catching some coffee with Brodes. Hello, Colin. Thanks so much. Drinking my cup and smoking a J. Love that, Joe. Love that. Now, I have my coffee machine right here now. We made the move. I have my coffee machine, and I am contemplating, do I brew another cup of Joe? Because I honestly feel I want another cup of coffee right now pretty damn badly. And I did this specifically so when we are kicking it and we are hanging out, we have the opportunity to real quickly, and it's just I have my real Ninja machine upstairs that brews a lot more intensely. Down here, it's just a nice, simple Keurig. But the fact that in my own office, in my studio, I now have a cup of Joe that's available for me with all times, it's awesome. This is a family event. We drink coffee together in this family. Oh, I thank you. That's funny. Don't know if this counts, but I get my lunch ready as it's 2 p.m. Excuse me, 2 p.m. over here in the UK. That counts. That counts. Now, what I would do if I were you, though, is I'd make a nice afternoon cup. I'd make a nice afternoon cup of Joe. That's what I would do. I'm not a big Dunkin' guy. I'll drink it if I need to, but I'd go Wawa any day over the week. Lately, I've been going with their hazelnut blend black. So I'll go there, I'll get their Wawa hazelnut blend, and I'll just drink that straight up black. That's the way I enjoy it right now. But I go through phases for sure on exactly what I like. Sometimes I'll throw some creamer in there. Sometimes I'll go Colombian roast black. Sometimes I'll go regular coffee black. Sometimes I even hit that machine to the right that has like the Frappuccino or the cappuccinos and whatnot. And they have something called the mocha, and it's double caffeinated. So it's double the caffeine. Obviously, that's what double caffeinated means. And I will, I'll even go down that route. Yeah, Wawa over Dunkin' Donuts for sure. Anyone else take off for work? I did not. I'm right here speaking to you guys. But I do believe that it should be a national holiday, although it is Valentine's Day. So I am taking the fiance out for a nice sushi dinner tonight. So we're going to hit the sushi, and I made sure, because some people are like, we won't do Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day because hungover and all that. And I thought to myself, look, let's take advantage here, people. Let's be smart about this. Do it on Valentine's Day. Why? Because when you look at the schedule, there's nothing on tonight. There's no Sixers. Not that the Flyers would change my opinion on things because they suck, but there's no Sixers. There's no Flyers. Take advantage of a quiet night, and then you take her out. You go get something to eat. Bada bing, bada boom. You have some fun later on. Then you're good to go. Take advantage. Be smart. Be smart of your time. Be smart of the schedule, right? Let's go. Let's use our brains. You know, they make fun of us. They say we're dumb. They say our brain cells don't work. They say we're not smart enough. Well, damn it. Want to go out to eat, babe? Monday. On the day. Who's not smart now? When I'm sitting back on Tuesday night watching the Celtics, and you have to go to Benihana's at 7 o'clock. All right? $5 coming in from ASMR, me of everything. Hello. The one and only Brodes. Love your work, bro. Did Harden agree for next year or not? There's reports saying that they did not. So that doesn't concern me long term. I think that everything will still be fine. The original report was he did pick up the option. Then there was a report that he did not pick up the option. Regardless, I'm not worried about it. I think we will be just fine, big picture. Thank you so much for the $5, though. The one and only Brodes. Love your work, bro. Thank you so much, for real. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys all so much. I mean, I really do say that basically every single show that I do, but it's because I truly mean it. And without you guys, there's none of this. So thank you. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for all that you do, because I get to wake up and talk sports all because 5 years ago at this point, in 2017, September 2017, I made a YouTube channel reacting to Philadelphia sports, and more than just Philly sports. I would do college basketball. I remember even breaking down at the time a Saturday slate of Virginia versus another ACC team, Virginia Tech. And here I am saying, in the second quarter, Bill Smith, and I'm going, I don't even know who Bill Smith is, dropped 8 points, and he's shooting off the dribble, and I'm breaking down Virginia Tech games. It was just absurd, and then naturally it grown into where we are today, but amazing. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. Well, I mean, speaking of a promo code, get yourself to a Sixers game or any other event out there. Promo code Brodes, SeatGeek's checkout page, $20 off. It's a no-brainer. That's your parking. That helps you get your parking. I'm giving you free parking. Promo code Brodes. Get yourself to a game today, of course. Or you can fly out to Milwaukee on Thursday. I can help pay for your tickets, that $20. If you want to fly out to Milwaukee, get yourself to the game on Thursday. Plenty of options here. Plenty of options. I'm here for the people. That's what I do. Yeah, March Madness is sneaking up, man. 19K subs. Congrats, bros. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're coming into 20. Coming into 20K. Actually, we're not close to 20K yet. We just hit 19. But before you know it, that's a pretty big milestone for sure. Brodes is a man of the people. The voice in your head. That's scary. If I'm the voice that's in your head, that's scary, no? This voice, this obnoxious sounding thing that you constantly spend your time listening to for 30 to 35 minutes a night after something ridiculous and amazing happens or something frustrating and annoying and scary happens and things that make us want to cry. That voice is what puts you to the next level and it's in your head all the time. It's scary, no? That's scary. That's amazing. All right, I'm making another cup of Joe. You're going to still be able to hear me. You're going to still be able to hear me. I'm going right here. I'm going to this right here. So I'll still talk because I know you can hear me. Here we go. Next to my TV, we're going to end up pouring some water into it. We got some water into the Keurig. We're putting our K-cup in. Bada bing, bada boom. Go to the trash can. There we have it. How about that? Now we got a second cup brewing on Coffee with Brodes. How about this? We just get better and better here. It's nonstop. We just continue to add and grow. Here we go. We got a second cup of Joseph. I mean, before that would be why we'd have to stop. Oh, I need another cup. Oh, I need another cup. Now it's like, hey, I'll just do a 24-hour live stream. Just rip it. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. Where do the Flyers start this offseason? Well, it starts at the trade deadline. You trade Claude Giroux, which it seems like there's some reports about the Colorado Avalanche. People are being sent to Colorado to go scout and to see what they have. It's trade Claude Giroux. It's trade Justin Braun. From there, it's take calls in the offseason on Travis Sanheim and Travis Konechny. From there, it's buying out JVR. From there, it's signing 2 to 3 free agents. From someone very close to the situation, that is what I'm hearing. I'm also hearing some interesting names for some coaching candidates. Now, I don't know which direction they're going to go. But I do know that John Tortorella's name has been brought up. And I do know that Jim Montgomery's name has been caught up as well. Has been brought up. So there's 2 names that have been brought up. That doesn't mean they're going to be the finalist or they're going to be the answer or the hires. But those are just a couple of names that I'm hearing that are being discussed in general. For whatever it's worth. Take that for what it is. But I do know that we have a $2 donation coming in. Elton Brand destroyed the Sixers and Ben Simmons. If you woke up today and that's your feel and that's what you're thinking about, okay, I don't have any emotion towards that. I disagree. I don't think he destroyed Ben Simmons. Elton Brand destroyed Ben Simmons. Now, this is what Ben Simmons wants. He wants people to be pointing the finger at everybody else. Oh, he's the reason. No, Ben Simmons is the reason why Ben Simmons was destroyed here. That's my thoughts on that. But if you feel passionately about it, okay, kudos to you. And that's your feeling on it. That's fine. I'm just not going to go down a rabbit hole and get sucked into it and lose my cool over it by any means. But I appreciate the $2 donation. We also get a $2.79 donation from Wade. If the NFL added 2 more teams, where would they be? Wade, I got to say, you are a fine donator. You donate a lot, and I love you to death for doing it. When you donate, you asked questions that are, they're not bad questions. They're different questions. They're unique. They're interesting. That's all. And I'm almost fascinated because whenever I see a Wade question, you know it's going to be off topic and random. But this is interesting. This is interesting. But what also is interesting is my coffee's waiting for me. And the fact that you can still see me. Oh, I get another cup of Joe. Oh. So, you asked the question. If the NFL added 2 more teams, where would they be? I also have to change the name of the show to Coffees with Brodes. Where would they be? That would be cool. Toronto. Someone just mentioned Toronto. I do think that that would be cool. Although you have the CFL and, things would be interesting there. But Toronto would be pretty damn sick. You don't need anything in Florida. I'm thinking something smaller that could be outrageous. Does St. Louis deserve to have a team back? I don't know. I wonder, and I hope this isn't cheating, but NFL cities deserving. No, cities deserve NFL team. Okay. Hawaii, that's outrageous. LA, Las Vegas, London, New York City, or Brooklyn. What the hell is this? What? El Paso, London, Tokyo? What are we doing here? Oh, is this just for one game? No, deserve franchise. Tokyo. Hey, we got to fly to Tokyo. We got a game on Sunday. No. Salt Lake City. Now, Utah does have their passionate fans. I do think there's something to say about Utah. It's a interesting place, but they are passionate and they do extremely care about where they're at. I think from a broad sense here, without diving in too much and losing my mind over it, even though I will maybe look more into it, I like the idea of Toronto and Salt Lake City. Norfolk, Virginia, Portland, Oregon, Sacramento, Omaha, Nebraska, Orlando, Florida, Columbus, Ohio, Las Vegas, we have that now. San Antonio, too much in Texas already. LA, I like Salt Lake City. I like that pick. I like Toronto. $5 coming in from Joe Burrow again. What would you be doing now if you would have never started a YouTube channel? I don't think that would be a thing. I was so dedicated to making sports talk radio my life that I would have done that in another way. Whether maybe it just would have been a podcast without YouTube, or I would have started off as an intern at a radio station and worked my way up, which I kind of did too, right? I mean, I juggled starting my own YouTube channel, and at that time, I was a full-time student, and then I was working at 97.3 ESPN, working as basically social media for the Mays and Aton show there, which was a show that doesn't even exist anymore down in Atlantic City. So I probably would have just pursued sports talk radio just in a different way other than YouTube. Once I realized that this was where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, there's no going back from there. I was going to make it happen, and it just happened where this was my path to do it, but I just would have done it in a different way for sure. Let's see here. This guy just hates Elton Brand to death like no other. I think Elton Brand's actually a smart basketball mind. I do. Did he make some decisions there and all that weren't great? Sure. But that's like saying the Colts, for example. The Colts have a GM that people put over Howie Roseman. There's Howie Roseman haters where they look at Ballard and they say, he's better than Howie Roseman. I think they're all in the same category. They're all in the same tier, but okay. Now, he just traded for Carson Wentz for a first-round draft pick, and then now that looks terrible. Sometimes GMs make bad decisions, but it doesn't mean that they're awful at their job and they're pathetic. One decision, two decisions, three decisions. There's a whole body of work. You need a full body of work to literally look at everything to then make full-on judgment. As a GM, you can't say, well, he picked Jalen Reagor. He stinks as a GM. You got to look at 4 years of work to really be able to describe someone as good or bad as a GM. I don't think Elton Brand did phenomenal within his opportunities at times, but I do think in general, as a full-on basketball mind, that he is going to have a lot of success as a front office member in this association and in this league, a full picture-wise. But yes, when he did have a chance, originally, it didn't go as smoothly as possible. But I still think that Elton Brand is a smart basketball mind and will be a smart front office member for sure. Thoughts on Harden picking number one? Thanks so much for the $2. I got no thought about it at all. Number 1, number 9, number 50, number 63, number 8. You know what I care about? Harden. I care about James Harden. I care about Harden being over whatever number is on the back of his jersey. So what number it is, don't care. Don't care. Just make sure it's James Harden wearing it. That's all that matters to me. Should have picked 25. That would have been good. That would have been good trolling for sure. Could you imagine? You need a full-time gig doing a sports talk show on TV as well. Keep up the good work, Brodes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm having a lot of fun with what I'm doing over at The Fanatic. I'm excited to see where it goes. In March, it'll be 1 year. My first gig was the weekend of March Madness. It was the Saturday of March Madness was my first weekend doing the Fanatic. So March Madness 2021 start date. So last year, Thursday, March 18th. So what is that, March 20th? Does that mean March 20th was my first show? Damn, that's wild. Yeah, that sounds about right. Crazy. Colin, I am on The Fanatic. I am on The Fanatic. Saturdays and Sundays. And then when I have an opportunity to fill in. This weekend, I'll be on 9 a.m. to noon on Saturday by myself. Tyrone's on vacation. And then noon to 4 on Sunday. Let's see here. I just missed the Phillies. I do too. It's extremely disappointing. It's just extremely disappointing. Would you trade to get Russell Wilson? If I can, yeah, without giving up too much. Let's say it takes 2 first-round draft picks, and then you still have 1, then yeah, I would be looking into doing that. I'm willing to trade for Russell Wilson. I'm just not willing to trade too much. So if you can get a Russell Wilson and then still have your traditional full draft of 1 first-round draft pick, and then you still have the rest of your draft and you get some possible moves elsewhere, then yeah, I'm willing to trade for Russell Wilson, yes. It would be foolish to say I can get better at the quarterback position as much as I like Jalen Hurts. And I think he will grow, and I think he'll get better, and I expect him to grow from everything that he learned from this year, playing those starts and realizing the speed of the game and knowing what he needs to work on now and knowing that he's a determined young player who is very coachable. And, you know, he's going to put 1,000% into becoming the starter next season. I don't doubt the effort level and the dedication to working on that craft where he will be better. I believe that Jalen Hurts will be better this year in the pocket awareness, and reading the field, which everyone talks about arm talent. What he needs to focus on for next year is scanning the field better, not missing Quez Watkins wide open, not missing some of these players open in the middle of the field, and understanding the speed of the game after 1 full season of starting, I think will give him a lot of information to now study and learn from to be better in that area. But if you can improve to a Russell Wilson, it's a no-brainer that you maximize that opportunity. So yes, I would. There's a 97.5 The Fanatic app, Colin. Just saying. There's plenty of apps. Plenty of apps. Ton of draft picks and a lot of money. The Eagles better go crazy. We have Howie Roseman as their general manager. You don't think that he's willing to utilize that stuff? You don't think he's willing to go crazy? Quote, go crazy? Of course he is. Oh, absolutely 1,000% he's willing to go crazy. Oh, no doubt about it. Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. See, I'm not a play-by-play guy, though, Jumbo. I don't do play-by-play. So I'd be sitting there in the chair with Allah, and I'd be going, what the hell is going on here? Can you believe Joel Embiid? Like, I would be talking about it as if it's sports talk with Brodes and opinionated sports talk instead of a play-by-play analyst. I don't do play-by-play. That ain't me. I can't get it done. Now, would it be cool to have a secondary cast, sort of like the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning cast, the Manning cast, and they're doing it now with Sunday Night Baseball with Michael Kay and A-Rod, which is going to be fantastic, I'd imagine, as well, where it's more just kick back and hang out? Sure, I wouldn't be against something like that. but I can't do the full-on play-by-play experience. It would be a nightmare. A color guy? Oh, man. I don't think I'd be able to be the color individual either, to be honest with you. Yeah, I do agree with you. His Furkan love is way too aggressive. There should be no one who loves Furkan Korkmaz as much as Allah loves Furkan Korkmaz. It's just terrible. It's horrible. Yeah, they do need to get baseball going. It stings. It stings. We should be pretending that we're super close to baseball season right now. As soon as the Super Bowl ends, you make your baseball jokes that here we go, pitchers and catchers. Here we go. Let's get Zach Wheeler throwing. Here we go. Let's get closer to May, and let's get closer to March. Excuse me. Let's get closer to March, the end of March, the beginning of April, so we can see some baseball when it's chilly. We just don't have that right now, and it's disappointing, and it hurts my heart. Yes, I know who RB is. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. Yes, I do know what Philly take with RB. Yes, I know DJ. We know one another. We've been all doing this for quite some time. Quite some time. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know who likes to watch Point Furk. Nobody. Nobody likes to watch Point Furk on Korkmaz. Nobody and their mother. Baseball is a snore fest. You're just missing out on the greatness of it. If all you're doing is sitting there waiting to see if the ball hits the bat, well, then you're missing out on all of the parts of the game that is the thinking side of things. It's a 2-1 count. The last time I had a 2-1 count against the same pitcher in the second inning, he threw a slider on the outside part of the plate. Do I have to anticipate that slider again? Or is he going to throw something inside and maybe throw some gas? Or is there going to be a changeup, right? I mean, you have to think and actually see what happened throughout. If you're just waiting, like, I want to see if the ball gets hit. Just tell me if the ball hits the bat. I mean, there's so much more to the thinking of the game and what's happening here, where not even if it's that same the same batter or the same hitter. Let's say it's the previous hitter. So you're thinking of the lineup. Bryce Harper gets a certain pitch on a 2-1 count. Next at bat, Rhys Hoskins is up. It's a 2-1 count. Now, obviously, lefty-righty, so bad example. But let's say there's two righties up there with the righty on the bump. And you go righty-righty in your lineup. What pitch are you going to get? Where's it going to be located? You can't just miss out on the ins and outs of the game. That's part of the explanation on what's happening throughout. But it's not for everyone. I'm not going to demand everybody love baseball. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's a slower paced game, but it's so beautiful within the pace of it. Give me a 7 o'clock start, Tuesday night, summer night in June or July, right? It's 7 o'clock. It's still light outside, super light outside. It takes it to about 10:15. It's the ninth inning. Hector Neris is on the bump. The Phillies are up 3-2 against the Braves in Philadelphia. Oh! At that point, it would be the top of the ninth. But maybe you go to Atlanta, and you're on the road, and Hector Neris is on the bump. Crazy. Although, for some reason, I had PTSD just thinking about that scenario playing out. That doesn't make me feel very good. You're getting me all excited for nothing, Brodes? Well, to be fair, look, we're going to get baseball. All right? We are going to get baseball. They are going to get this working at some point. Not to the pace of our liking, not exactly the way that we would like it, but we are going to get baseball. It is going to happen. And then we'll have our post-game reactions every night. You know, I always get asked, which team do I love the most? And my response is, whenever you're asking me that, whatever team is in session is my answer. So right now, you ask me, I'd say Sixers. 3 months ago, I'd say Eagles. If you ask me in the summer, I'll say Phillies. Right? I mean, that's just reality of the situation. But in terms of what do I enjoy talking about on a podcast and what do I enjoy most with Brodes Media, I love talking baseball every single day. And I think that's why. There's a game every single night. Monday bleeds into Tuesday's game, which bleeds into Wednesday's game, and there's so much involved. Well, what happened on Tuesday night with the bullpen and the starter impacted Wednesday night games when Aaron Nola was on the mound, and the bullpen usage and decisions made in previous outings, affect where you are in that game. So it's so much of a domino effect. There's so many talking points, and it's so consistent. And I just love the game so much where, for me, I thoroughly enjoy Brodes Media post-game podcast with baseball the most for my personal enjoyments. And now I can't wait to go live for these games and do it that way. I'm enjoying the live streaming concept. And I used to do this back in the day, a long time ago. I used to take calls 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when I barely had as many subscribers, and I would take calls, and it was so fun. But then I took a little bit of a break and did the publishing the podcast where it was pre-recorded. But I'm having a lot more fun just doing the hey, let's hit live and let's rock with it lately. And I hope you guys are as well. And I can't wait for the baseball side of things to do that on a nightly basis. Can't believe Harden stole Justin Anderson's Philly legend. Amazing. Justin Anderson. What a clown. What an absolute clown, for sure. What time is it? It's 10:15, huh? Doing a little extra work. Doing a little overboard work here. Let's see. I was debating if I was going to talk the Super Bowl last night, but I ended up doing it. It was just a blah game for me. Just a blah game. But look, I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with me. We did a little extra today. We're having a blast. Make sure you check out WinView and click the link down below in the description. Download the app utilizing winview.tv/Brodes. You have to go through that link. It would help me out in so many ways. I can't even explain it to you. It's fantastic. You get a chance to play 1v1 against other people, answering questions about games, putting money down, or you could play for free. There's so many ton experiences every single night when you look at the schedule of sports on the list. It's so fun. Check it out. And thank you guys so much. I'm enjoying this second cup of Joe with you all. Well, obviously, there's a day off today with games. I don't know how it's all going to break up today for the future of today into tomorrow, but definitely look out for some content. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I will see you next.